let's talk about something most prefer to ignore. Something that, if you manage to master it, will change everything in your life. But before that, let me ask you this. How many times have you felt your desires control you? An uncontrollable inner voice dragging you toward decisions you later regret. Do you recognize that voice? That's lust. And no, I'm not just referring to physical desire, but to that obsession that blinds us, that makes us lose focus. Because let me tell you something. He who conquers lust will conquer everything else. Think about it. Human beings are slaves to their impulses. From the moment we wake up, we're bombarded with stimuli, designed to capture our attention, to ignite desires within us that never seem to be satisfied. Social media, advertisements, TV shows, everything is designed to keep you trapped. But the question is, who's in control? You or those external forces? What no one tells you is that lust not only consumes your energy, but devours your potential. Every time you give in to an impulse, you renounce a part of your power. And here's the irony. We're taught to seek pleasure as if it were the ultimate goal. But that very fleeting pleasure weakens us, makes us vulnerable, manipulable, empty. Now listen carefully, because here's where the real mystery begins. For centuries, great minds, leaders, visionaries have understood this secret. Self-mastery is the path to greatness. Alexander the Great, an invincible conqueror, once said, "Conquering yourself is the greatest of victories." He was right. He who controls his desires controls his destiny. But it's not easy, right? The mind is a battlefield. Every day, it fights against thoughts that drag you toward comfort, toward the immediate, toward what's easy. Lust doesn't just live in the body, it lives in the mind, whispering to you to give in, to surrender, to enjoy the moment regardless of the cost. And when you realize it, it's too late. You're trapped again. However, here's the hope. You can break that cycle. You can transform those impulses into an unstoppable force. Because lust, although it seems like an enemy, is also a tool. If you learn to channel it, it can become the fuel you need to achieve any goal. But first, you must master it. And that requires strength, discipline, and a will of iron. And you know what's most fascinating? The process of mastering lust completely transforms you. At first, you'll feel lost, vulnerable, like you're fighting a part of yourself. But little by little, you'll start to notice something strange, a mental clarity you've never experienced before, like a fog lifting. Suddenly, everything makes sense. That clarity gives you an advantage few have. It allows you to make decisions with surgical precision, to see opportunities where others only see obstacles. And most importantly, you become unstoppable because you're no longer chained to your impulses. You're free. Now, I want you to imagine something. Imagine a life where you are the master of your desires, not their slave. A life where every action you take is aligned with your most ambitious goals. Imagine waking up every day with a clear purpose. No distractions, no regrets, only unbreakable determination. That life is possible, but only for those who dare to face the challenge. Most won't. They'll prefer to stay trapped in an endless cycle of pleasure and regret. But you're not like them, right? You want more. You want to conquer everything. And to do that, you must start here and now, facing the hardest enemy of all, yourself. The question is, are you ready to take control? Because once you do, There will be no limits. Lust will no longer be your chain. It will be your engine. And with that engine, you can conquer anything you set your mind to. Now tell me, will you continue being a slave, or are you ready to become the master of your destiny? Stand in front of the mirror and look at who you really are. Don't focus on the surface. Don't look at your face or body. Look beyond that. Look at your mind, your thoughts, your deepest impulses. Have you noticed how many times your life has been directed by them? Most of your decisions don't come from logic or principles, but from something much more basic, your desires. But here's the secret no one tells you. When you master those impulses, when you stop being a slave to lust, everything changes. Absolutely everything. Now, before we continue, do something for me. Ask yourself, with brutal honesty, how many times have you felt you had no control over your decisions? How many times have you given in to a momentary impulse, even knowing it would harm you? The honest answer will surprise you. And that's okay, because admitting it is the first step to changing it. Most people spend their lives justifying their impulses, saying, it's normal to have desires. It's part of being human. Yes, that's true. But here's the difference between those who achieve something extraordinary and those who get stuck in mediocrity. The first group doesn't let themselves be carried away by impulses. They control them, turn them into a force, and use them to move forward. Think about it for a moment. How many times have you seen someone who seems to have everything under control? The person who moves forward with determination, who seems immune to distractions, who doesn't stop for easy pleasures. What do they have that you don't have? The answer is simple: self-mastery. And here's the interesting part. This control is not something you achieve overnight. It's a process that requires discipline, consistency, and above all, willpower. You know why most people fail? They want immediate gratification, but true power, true control, is built over time. It's like forging a sword. Every strike of the hammer, every step of the process, and brings you closer to perfection. I want you to stay with me until the end, because I'm going to reveal something that can change your life. But first, I'll tell you a story that will make you question many things. Imagine a man named Mark. Mark had everything anyone could desire at first glance: money, fame, a seemingly perfect life. But there was something he couldn't control: his impulses. Mark was a slave to his desires. Every decision he made was influenced by the constant pursuit of immediate pleasure. He looked happy on the outside, but inside, he was empty. One day, Mark met a mentor, a wise man, who told him something he would never forget. He who conquers lust conquers everything else. Because when you control your desires, you control your destiny. These words pierced Mark's mind. From that moment, he decided to change. At first, it was difficult. His impulses kept trying to dominate him. But little by little, with practice and discipline, he began to notice a change. His mind became clearer, his decisions more accurate, his life fuller. And here's the point: Mark didn't need more money, more fame, or more recognition to feel fulfilled. All he needed was to conquer the hardest part of himself. Now look at yourself in the mirror again, but this time with one question in mind. Do you want to be like Mark before the change, or after? Because that decision is up to you. No one else can make it for you. And here's the curious part. Most people choose comfort, the easy path. But the few who choose the hard path, the path of self-mastery, are the ones who truly achieve greatness. I know what you're thinking. This sounds great, but how do I do it? Let's go step by step. First, become aware of your impulses. Every time you feel that urge to give in to desire, stop. Ask yourself, does this bring me closer to what I really want, or farther away? If it takes you farther, learn to say no. Because every time you say no to an impulse, you're saying yes to yourself, your true self. Second, practice patience. We live in a world that teaches us to seek instant gratification. But instant gratification is a poison disguised as pleasure. What's truly worth it takes time, effort, and sacrifice. And third, have a clear purpose. When you have a powerful reason to move forward, it's much easier to resist momentary impulses. And here's where I ask you for something. If this message resonates with you, if you feel it's time to take control of your life, subscribe to Psyche Nomad. Here, we talk about how to become the best version of yourself, how to stop being a slave to your impulses and become the master of your destiny. I want you to leave a comment with this phrase: I am the master of my decisions. Write it not just as a comment, but as a commitment to yourself. Because once you write it, you'll be taking the first step toward that control you so deeply desire. But don't leave yet, because there's one more thing you need to understand before this video ends. Mastering your desires doesn't just affect your personal life. It transforms everything: your relationships, your work, your projects, your health. Everything improves when you have self-mastery. Imagine for a moment that every decision you make is aligned with your values and your goals, that you're no longer a slave to temptations or distractions, that every step brings you closer to your best version. That's what I want for you, and that's what you can achieve if you commit to working on it. Remember, he who conquers lust will conquer everything else, because when you control your desires, you control your life. So tell me, are you ready to start that journey? See you in the next video. And don't forget, true power doesn't come from what you have, but from what you're capable of mastering. The first step is mastering yourself. See you soon.